Cadyow Castle Walter Scott. Sir, less than I greater than addressed to the Right Honourable Lady Anne Hamilton. Less than / I greater than when princely Hamilton's abode ennobled Cadyow's Gothic towers, the song went round, the goblet flowed, and revel sped the laughing hours. Then, thrilling to the harp's gay sound, so sweetly rung each vaulted wall, and echoed light the dancers' bound, as mirth and music cheered the hall. But Cadyow's towers, in ruins laid, and vaults, by ivy mantled o'er, and echoed light the dancers' bound, as mirth and music cheered the hall. Yet still, of Cadyow's faded fame, you bid me tell a minstrel tale, and tune my harp, of border frame, on the wild banks of Avondale. For thou, from scenes of courtly pride, from pleasure's lighter scenes, canst turn, to draw oblivion's pall aside, and mark the long-forgotten urn. Then, noble maid, at thy command, again the crumbled hulls shall rise. Lo! As on Avon's banks we stand, the past returns, the present flies. Where, with the rock's wood-covered side, were blended late the ruins green, rise turrets in fantastic pride, and feudal banners flaunt between. Where the rude torrent's brawling course was shagged with thorn entangling slow, the ashlar buttress braves its force, and ramparts frown in battled row. 'Tis night, the shade of Keepin's spire obscurely dance on Avon's stream, and on the wave the warder's fire is checkering the moonlight beam. Fades slow their light, the east is grey, the weary warder leaves his tower, steeds snort, uncoupled stag-hounds bay, and merry hunters quit the bower. The drawbridge falls, they hurry out, clatters each plank and swinging chain, as, dashing o'er, the jovial rout urge the shy steed, and slack the rein. First of his troop, the chief rode on. His shouting merrymen throng behind. The steed of princely Hamilton was fleeter than the mountain wind. From the thick copse the roebucks bound, the startled red deer scuds the plain, for the hoarse bugle's warrior sound has roused their mountain haunts again. Through the huge oaks of Avondale, whose limbs 1,000 years have worn, what sullen roar comes down the gale, and drowns the hunter's pealing horn? Mightiest of all the beasts of chase, that roam in woody Caledon, crashing the forest in his race, the mountain bull comes thundering on. Fierce, on the hunter's quivered band, he rolls his eyes of swarthy glow, spurns, with black hoof and horn, the sand, and tosses high his mane of snow. Aimed well, the chieftain's lance has flown. Struggling in blood the savage lies. His roar is sunk in hollow groan. Sound, merry huntsman. Sound the price. 'Tis noon, against the knotted oak the hunters rest the idle spear. Curls through the trees the slender smoke, where yeomen dight the woodland cheer. Proudly the chieftain marked his clan, on greenwood Lapwell careless thrown, yet missed his eye the boldest man that bore the name of Hamilton. Amperson quo. Why fills not Bothwell how his place, still want our weal and woe to share? Why comes he not our sport to grace? Why shares he not our hunter's fare? Amperson quo. Stern Claude replied, with darkening face, grey Paisley's haughty lord was he, Amperson quo. At mere feast, or buxom chase, no more the warrior wilt thou see. Amperson quo. Few suns have set since Woodhousley saw Bothwell Howe's bright goblets foam when to his hearths, in social glee, the war-worn soldier turned him home. Amperson quo. There wan from her maternal throes, his Margaret, beautiful and mild, sate in her bower, a pallid rose, and peaceful nursed her new-born child. Amperson quo. O change accursed! Past are those days. False Maray's ruthless spoilers came, and, for the hearth's domestic blaze, ascends destruction's volumed flame. Amperson quo. What sheeted phantom wanders wild, where mountain-esque through woodland flows, her arms enfold a shadowy child? Oh! Is it she, the pallid rose? Amperson quo. The wilder traveler sees her glide, and hears her feeble voice with awe. Revenge, she cries, on the raised pride, and woe for injured Bothwell Howe. Ampersand quo. He ceased, and cries of rage and grief burst mingling from the kindred band, and half arose the kindling chief, and half unsheathed his errand brand. But who, o'er bush, o'er stream and rock, rides headlong, with resistless speed, whose bloody poniard's frantic stroke drives to the leap his jaded steed? Whose cheek is pale, whose eyeballs glare, as one some visioned sight that saw, whose hands are bloody, loose his hair? 'Tis he. 'Tis Bothwell Howe. From gory cell, and reeling steed, sprung the fierce horseman with a bound, and, reeking from the recent deed, he dashed his carbine on the ground. Sternly he spoke, Ampersand quo. 'Tis sweet to hear in good greenwood the bugle blown, but sweeter to revenge's ear, to drink a tyrant's dying groan. Ampersand quo. Your slaughtered quarry proudly trod, at dawning morn, o'er dale and down, but prouder base-born Moray rode through old Linlithgow's crowded town. Ampersand quo. From the wild border's humbled side, in haughty triumph marched he, while Knox relaxed his bigot pride, and smiled, the traitorous pomp to see. Ampersand quo. But can stern power, with all his vaunt, or pomp, with all her courtly glare, the settled heart of vengeance donned, or change the purpose of despair? Ampersand quo. With hackbutt bend, my secret stand, dark as the purposed deed, I chose, and marked, where, mingling in his band, trooped Scottish pikes and English bows. Ampersand quo. Dark Morton, girt with many a spear, murder's foul minion, led the van, and clashed their broadswords in the rear the wild MacFarlane's plaited clan. Ampersand quo. Linsairn and stout Parkhead were nigh, obsequious at their regent's reign, and haggard Lindesay's iron eye, that saw fair Mary weep in vain. Ampersand quo. Mid pennoned spears, a steely grove, proud Moray's plumage floated high. Scarce could his trampling charger move, so close the minions crowded nigh. Ampersand quo. From the raised visor's shade, his eye, dark olding, glanced the ranks along, and his steel truncheon, waved on high, seemed marshalling the iron throng. Ampersand quo. But yet his saddened brow confessed a passing shade of doubt and awe. Some fiend was whispering in his breast, beware of injured Bothwell Howe. Ampersand quo. The death shot parts, the charger springs, while rises tumult's startling roar, and Moray's plumy helmet rings on the ground, to rise no more. Ampersand quo. What joy the raptured youth can feel, to hear her love the loved one tell, or he, who broaches on his steel the wolf, by whom his infant fell. Ampersand quo. But dearer to my injured eye to see in dust proud Moray roll, and mine was 10 times trebled joy, to hear him groan his felon soul. Ampersand quo. My Margaret spectre glided near, with pride her bleeding victim saw, and shrieked in his death deafened ear, remember injured Bothwell Howe. Ampersand quo. Then speed thee, noble Chatler out. Spread to the wind thy banner tree. Each warrior bent his Clydesdale bow. Moray is fallen, and Scotland free. Ampersand quo. Vaults every warrior to his steed. Loud bugles join their wild acclaim. Ampersand quo. Moray is fallen, and Scotland freed. Couch, Aaron. Couch thy spear of flame. Ampersand quo. But, see. The minstrel vision fails, the glimmering spears are seen no more. The shouts of war die on the gales, or sink in Evan's lonely roar. For the loud bugle, pealing high, the blackbird whistles down the vale, and sunk in ivied ruins lie the bannered towers of Avondale. For chiefs, intent on bloody deed, and vengeance shouting o'er the slain, lo! High-born beauty rules the steed, or graceful guides the silken rein. And long may peace and pleasure own the maids who list the minstrel's tale, nor e'er ruder guest be known on the fair banks of Avondale.